Hey Book Summareez crew, are you ready to ditch the people-pleasing and unlock your authentic self? This isn't just another book summary. It's a roadmap to transforming your relationships, career, and overall well-being. We're diving deep into Dr. Aziz Gazipura's Not Nice. Stop people-pleasing, staying silent, feeling guilty, and start speaking up, saying no, asking boldly, and unapologetically being yourself. This book challenges the pervasive idea that being nice is always a virtue. Dr. Gazipura brilliantly reveals how excessive niceness is often rooted in fear and a desperate need for approval, ultimately hindering your authenticity and happiness. We'll uncover the hidden costs of people-pleasing and arm you with practical strategies to break free from the niceness cage. Get ready to set healthy boundaries, own your imperfections, speak your truth, and prioritize your well-being, all without guilt or apology. This book Summareez is designed to be more than just a recap. It's a catalyst for change. We'll give you actionable strategies you can implement today to start reclaiming your authentic self. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of the problem and a concrete plan for living a more empowered and fulfilling life. So, buckle up. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for more life-changing book summaries. Let's get started. Part 1. Unmasking the nice facade. Nice is good, right? It means you're caring, you don't hurt people, and you do the right thing. You put others first, avoid saying critical or mean things, and try to make others feel happy. Of course, this is all good, right? Well, maybe. After 14 years of clinical experience, working with thousands of people from all different cultures, I began to question this assumption. In fact, I saw that clients who were trying the hardest to be nice people also felt the most anxious, guilty, and frustrated. They had difficulty standing up for themselves, felt obligated to please others, and worried about what people thought of them. They couldn't directly ask for what they wanted, freely say no when it was the right thing to do, or openly disagree with others' opinions, even though they had strong, well-developed beliefs. In short, they were trapped in a cage of niceness that prevented them from being their real selves. That's when I started to realize that there was a problem with nice, that it was different than kindness, compassion, and love. It wasn't necessarily the same thing as being a good person. In fact, I started to question if being less nice actually allowed us to be more kind, generous, and loving people. This idea was so opposed to what I grew up believing that, at first, I couldn't buy it. I thought it was important to put others first and prided myself on never showing that I was angry. I thought being considerate was a good thing, and the world didn't need more selfish people. But then I started to study nice, first in myself, and then in my clients, and I discovered something fascinating. Being nice does not come out of goodness or high morals. It comes out of a fear of displeasing others and receiving their disapproval. It's driven by fear, not virtue. In fact, I discovered that being nice can make us secretly less loving and more burnt out over time as we stray further and further from our authentic selves. You may have noticed this pattern as well. In fact, if you're picking up a book called Not Nice, then you must recognize that there is some flaw in our cultural assumption that nice is good and more nice is better. Perhaps inside you too are feeling stressed out, overwhelmed, anxious, irritated, or guilty much of the time. Maybe being nice is blocking you from standing up for yourself, being honest with others, creating deeper relationships, or boldly expressing yourself in the world. It's crucial to distinguish between genuine acts of kindness and acts performed out of fear. Kindness flows from a place of inner strength and self-acceptance, while niceness is often a performance, a way to manipulate others into liking you. This performance is the core of why it does not work. Part 1 continued, the nice definition. Let's say you and I were heading to a dinner party together. You were my guest and you didn't know anyone else who was going to be there. As we were driving to the party, just as we pulled towards the house, imagine I turned to you and said, "Hey, when we get in there, be nice, okay?" What would that mean to you? How would it change your behavior? Perhaps you'd greet everyone with a smile, or try to be warm and enthusiastic. Maybe you'd appear to be interested in what people were saying, grin, and nod a lot. Maybe you'd laugh at the jokes and remarks people made, even if you didn't get them. You might also avoid certain things. Perhaps you'd avoid interrupting or speaking up before someone asked you a question. Maybe you'd restrain yourself and not make big gestures, speak up fully, or laugh loudly. If you were heeding my request, you most certainly would not bring up controversial topics, ask probing questions, or challenge others. You'd be, nice. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Do you do any of these things on a regular basis, even if no one asks you to? It might be something you unconsciously tell yourself all the time. And here's the really fascinating part. When you're at this party trying to be nice, what are you focusing on? Are you in the moment, speaking freely, spontaneously asking what you're most curious about and being fully engaged? Or are you observing yourself and others' reactions? Are you watching your language and how others react to you, analyzing the situation? Did they like that? Was it funny enough? Those two laughed, but she seems a little irritated by me. That guy by the drinks was completely disinterested in me. I wonder what I did that pissed him off. This is what being nice is. It's monitoring yourself to make sure you come across in a pleasing manner and don't offend anyone. It's making sure others like you and don't have any negative feelings. No upset, confusion, boredom, irritation, sadness, hurt, anger, or fear. No discomfort whatsoever. Just happy, positive, approving thoughts and feelings. At its core, being nice is about being liked by others by making everything smooth. No waves, no friction. It's based on this woefully inaccurate theory. If I please others, give them everything they want, keep a low profile and don't ruffle feathers or create any discomfort, then others will like me, love me, and shower me with approval and anything else I want: promotions, sales, friendships, dates, sex, attention. This theory is bunk. It's an inaccurate map of human relationships. And like any inaccurate map, if you follow it, you will not get where you want to go. Part 2. Please like me, the root of niceness and its cost. So what drives this need to be nice? Dr. Gazipura identifies the please like me syndrome, the deep-seated belief that your worth depends on the approval of others. This isn't simple connection, it's needing external validation to feel acceptable. This will be the source of constant worry, because you will have to perform and measure every interaction. This will just drive you crazy. But the foundation of this is fear, right? The belief that, if you can follow this, you can be happy. So let's pause for a moment and talk about how inaccurate this belief is, by taking a good, hard look at your own life. Can you identify a time that you felt genuinely connected to somebody, but where they disagreed with you? Maybe you were even fighting with each other, yet you felt closer. This is what happens when we are genuine in our actions. This does not mean that we can say whatever we want. It does mean that the genuine expression of your true self will ultimately have others understand you more. Being authentic is about creating long-lasting relationships. Think about times you've bent over backward to please someone, even when it went against your own needs or values. Maybe you agreed to work late, laughed at a joke, or nodded in agreement. What were you really seeking? Genuine connection or reassurance? The please like me engine runs on fear. Fear of judgment, abandonment, being alone. It whispers lies. If they don't like me, I'm worthless, or if I disagree, they'll leave, or if I'm not perfect, I'll be rejected. This creates constant anxiety, monitoring your behavior to adapt to expectations. It is not about loving others. It is about your own insecurities, and this makes relationships very difficult, if not impossible. This comes at a cost. You lose touch with your own desires, preferences, and boundaries. You become a chameleon, changing colors, never showing your authentic self. This leads to emptiness, resentment, and disconnect. You live for others' approval, neglecting your own needs and happiness. This is also damaging to relationships, and we have already established how. By not being genuine with others, you can never trust their responses, and you will never be loved for who you truly are because you aren't showing anyone who you are. The sad part is that people will be less likely to trust you because they will not know who you truly are. This is why Dr. Gazipura argues that this is coming from a place of selfishness and self-hatred. So if you change your perspective, you might just find that it can transform your life. Part 3. The guilt bubble, and don't be mad. The guilt bubble is the enforcer, a nagging feeling when you might displease others. It's the internal voice that says, "You're selfish," or "You're going to hurt their feelings," or "You're a bad person." The guilt bubble is often rooted in childhood experiences. Maybe you were raised in a household where expressing your needs or desires was met with disapproval or punishment. Maybe you were taught that it's selfish to put yourself first, or that you should always prioritize others' happiness above your own. These early experiences can create deeply ingrained beliefs that guilt you into prioritizing others' needs, even at your own expense. The guilt bubble is insidious because it can be triggered by even the smallest actions. Saying no to a request, expressing a dissenting opinion, or even taking time for self-care can activate the guilt, making you feel like you're doing something wrong. This constant guilt can be exhausting, leading to feelings of anxiety, resentment, and a deep sense of self-blame. The guilt bubble also distorts your perception of reality. It makes you believe that others are more fragile than they actually are, that your actions have the power to cause them significant harm. This leads you to tiptoe around their feelings, avoiding any potential for conflict or discomfort, even when it means sacrificing your own needs. It's also untrue. You are not in charge of the emotions of other people. Another key driver of niceness is the fear of conflict. Many nice people go to great lengths to avoid disagreements, confrontations, or any situation that might lead to anger or upset. They believe that conflict is inherently bad and that it's their responsibility to keep the peace, even if it means sacrificing their own needs or opinions. If a friendship requires you to constantly bend over backwards, is that really a friendship at all? It is instead a hostage situation. This fear of conflict often stems from past experiences. Perhaps you witnessed heated arguments or experienced emotional abuse in your childhood. Maybe you were taught that anger is a dangerous emotion and that it's important to suppress it at all costs. These experiences can create a deep-seated fear of conflict, leading you to avoid it at all costs, even when it's necessary or healthy. Avoiding conflict can manifest in various ways. You might hold back your opinions, even when you strongly disagree. You might agree with others just to avoid an argument. You might apologize excessively, even when you've done nothing wrong. You might even avoid certain people or situations altogether to prevent the possibility of conflict. In effect, your life will be controlled by the very people you are scared of. While avoiding conflict might seem like a peaceful solution in the short term, it can have detrimental long-term consequences. It can lead to resentment, suppressed emotions, and a buildup of unresolved issues. It can also prevent you from asserting your needs, standing up for your beliefs, and building authentic relationships, because you are not being genuine. This is why Dr. Gazipura argues that many things we are told as children are not based on reality. Instead, they are based on the opinions and misinterpretations of another person. In effect, their trauma is passed on to you, but you don't have to listen. This does not mean that family and friendship is bad. It just means that some aspects might not be true. Part 4. Operation Liberate and the 5 Pillars. Breaking out of the niceness cage, however, is not a simple brute force move. You don't just smash the side of the prison wall with a bulldozer and run free. Instead, finding your way out of niceness is more like maneuvering your way out of a straitjacket. You must wrestle with the old, long-standing beliefs that bound you with stories that it's bad to ask for what you want, or that you're selfish for saying no. It's about reclaiming your authentic self. So how do we liberate? You will discover the 5 pillars of not nice. Have boundaries, own your shadow, speak up, say no, and be more selfish. Let's tackle each of these individually and figure out how this will look in real life. Have boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define where you end and others begin. They protect your physical, emotional, and mental space. Without boundaries, you become susceptible to being taken advantage of, drained, and overwhelmed. These are the walls that allow you to have an authentic life. They allow you to be yourself without worrying about what others think, but also prevents the bad people out there from taking advantage of you. Actionable steps. Identifying your boundaries requires introspection. Ask yourself, what am I willing to tolerate? What feels draining or disrespectful? What are my non-negotiables? Once you've identified your boundaries, communicate them clearly and assertively. Use I statements to express your needs and limits without blaming others. For example, instead of saying, "You're always interrupting me," say, "I feel disrespected when I'm interrupted, and I need you to let me finish speaking." Remember that your boundaries are not requirements for the behavior of others. It is about how you will react when you're in a particular situation. Practical examples. Your time. I'm available to work on this project between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. I will not be answering messages after that point. This does not mean that people are bad for messaging you after that point. This means that you will not answer the message. Your emotions. I'm not comfortable discussing those issues with you. Those are private. Some people are comfortable sharing these issues, but that does not mean you are required to. If you are asked to, it is okay to say that it is not for you. Own your shadow. The shadow is the part of yourself that you repress or deny, your flaws, imperfections, negative emotions, and unacceptable impulses. It's the stuff you don't want others to see, and sometimes, even you don't want to acknowledge. If this is confusing, just think of that character that everyone hates. Is there a reason for this? You might just identify with it, which is not a bad thing. If this means that you are a bad person, you can use the rest of the material here to find a new path forward. Actionable steps. What are the qualities in others that irritate or trigger you? These are often reflections of aspects of yourself that you're trying to suppress. Don't feel bad about identifying with it. You can learn to accept who you are with the good and the bad. You are on a journey. Some might even argue that the bad aspects are critical for you to actually have a fulfilling life. It is all about the balance. Practical examples. Journaling. Write about your negative emotions without judgment. Explore the underlying beliefs and experiences that contribute to these feelings. This allows you to truly acknowledge what you value by understanding all aspects of yourself. Self-compassion. Practice treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend who's struggling. It is easy to feel insecure. It might even be a regular occurrence. The key is in realizing it and engaging on that process once more. Speak up. Speaking up means expressing your thoughts, feelings, and opinions honestly and assertively, even when it's uncomfortable or risky. It means standing up for your beliefs, advocating for your needs, and challenging injustices. This means being confident, which can come by identifying all the things in your life you are grateful for. This is a process, of course. Confidence does not just arrive on your doorstep, and you also should not seek confidence from others. Actionable steps. You might start small by expressing your opinions in low-stakes situations. Practice using I statements to communicate your feelings and needs without blaming others. For example, instead of saying, "You always make me feel stupid," say, "I feel hurt and insecure when you criticize my ideas." What is that thing you want to say that you don't? If you identify it, that is your road forward. It is also important that this is not targeted at those who can hurt you. Start with those that you trust. Practical examples. That is a point of view I had not considered, and I do not feel comfortable with that. It does not require much. I disagree. It can be simply stated. It does not need to be an argument. Say no. Saying no is a powerful act of self-preservation. It protects your time, energy, and emotional well-being. It allows you to prioritize your own needs and commitments, preventing you from being overextended, resentful, and burned out. This is especially true when you are in a relationship. You cannot prioritize others if you yourself are not okay. Actionable steps. Recognize your right to say no. You are not obligated to fulfill every request that comes your way. This is not a bad thing, so don't feel guilty. It is okay to value your time. It might just come across as shocking and will make the lives of others easier. Practical examples. Thank you for the offer, but I'm unable to commit at this time. Short and sweet. Thank you, but no, the shortest you can get. I am unable to. Another alternative, but does get the point across. Be more selfish. Being selfish in this context doesn't mean being greedy or inconsiderate. It means prioritizing your own needs and well-being, recognizing that you can't effectively care for others if you're depleted and exhausted. It allows you to not burn out. Loving another person, it's also about making sure that you do not turn to hate the person that you are helping. Actionable steps. Identify the activities and practices that nourish your mind, body, and soul. Schedule time for self-care, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. It is hard to show love to others if you don't even love yourself. The first love you need to have in this world is for you. Practical examples. I am going to pursue my own hobbies, even if you don't like them. It is okay to not do the same things with your loved ones all the time. You are not required to. This is my personal day, and I'd like to be left alone. Time to turn the phone off, maybe even go out somewhere that they cannot find you, and just have time to think. Part 5. Choose your rules and taking action. You will need to reclaim who you truly are. You are not the result of another person's bad interpretations and trauma. This means identifying all your values. You are making the decision to live your life on your terms. Here are some examples. Family and friendship. Honesty. Authenticity. Fun. Self-expression. Finances. Spirituality. Physical health. Career. Creativity. Learning. Adventure. Contribution. Independence. Security. Peace. The list can go on. Consider which of these really resonates with you. Which will you prioritize for your life? For each one, how do you truly wish to engage with the world? What standards do you set for yourself, and what standards do you set for the people around you? Here are some examples of rules you might create based on those values. If I value honesty, I will always be truthful with myself and others, even when it's difficult. I will also only engage in relationships with other truthful people. If I value authenticity, I will express my true thoughts and feelings, even if they differ from others. I will also respect the authenticity of others. If I value fun, I will create time for leisure and humor. I will engage with those who can provide me with fun. The examples can also go on. What are the personal rules you would like to set for yourself? Remember, this is so you can engage with the world honestly. If you identify a relationship that simply causes you pain, you can simply walk away and know that you are doing the right thing, because you value yourself, and you will no longer subject yourself to the trauma of other people. It's important to realize that your rules may evolve. As you move forward in your life, you will change and learn new things about yourself. So, you should also make time to also consider how you may wish to evolve. It is also important to create rules for yourself and to be honest about how those rules are impacting your life. I will pursue physical health is a fine rule, but also ask yourself if that is really what you are doing. Be honest and don't beat yourself up. As you move through the 5 pillars, it's important to remember that the overarching purpose is to liberate yourself from the chains of fear and self-doubt. It's about creating a life that is authentic, fulfilling, and aligned with your values. It's about living from a place of inner strength and self-respect, rather than from a place of fear and insecurity. So, as you work through each pillar, ask yourself, am I setting boundaries that truly protect my well-being? Am I owning my shadow and accepting myself fully? Am I speaking up and expressing my needs and opinions assertively? Am I saying no to requests that drain me or detract from my well-being? Am I prioritizing my own needs and well-being without guilt or apology? If the answer to any of these questions is no, then it's time to reevaluate your approach and make adjustments. This is an ongoing process, not a one-time fix. It requires constant self-reflection, self-compassion, and a willingness to challenge your old beliefs and patterns. You must also take action. As Dr. Gazipura argues, this final section will give you a clear step-by-step framework to put everything you learned into practice. You will also get to read some intriguing, funny, and sometimes painfully awkward stories from my own life about applying not nice as I wrote this book. The point is that the rubber must meet the road, otherwise this is all just theory. Epilogue and not nice in action. Dr. Gazipura hopes this summary inspires you to embrace your authentic self and live a more fulfilling life. You will be on a journey, so you should be kind to yourself on that journey. Setbacks are okay. The important thing is that you keep trying, because every human is on their own path and cannot be truly understood by another. Only you are the author of your story, and by learning these lessons, you can then engage with the world honestly. The purpose is that this is not just some mental exercise, but is now how you lead your life. You have the potential to transform all aspects of your life. You will get more connected with other people. You will get more opportunities. You will be able to take action on your dreams without requiring the approval of another. You can be free. This also means that people are people, and they can be cruel and might not understand you and may say things that can hurt. That is when it becomes even more important for you to say something about it, or even cut them out of your life. Because you value you. You are the first love of your life. The key takeaways of the book is that in order to improve the lives of others, you must value your own life. You cannot do it when you hate yourself. It is coming from a place of selfishness when you are trying to make everyone happy because you want to be happy and are simply using the other person as a method of getting your validation. Now, the next step is yours. Outro and nice versus not nice quick guide expanding to approx. 800 words. Wow, you made it. Congratulations on reaching the end of this comprehensive book, Summareez of Not Nice by Dr. Aziz Gazipura. We truly hope you're feeling inspired, empowered, and ready to break free from the niceness trap and truly be yourself. Now, what are you going to do about it? Let's be clear. This does not mean stop being nice. What this means is a call for self-respect. This does not mean, for example, to start insulting everyone around you. Instead, Dr. Gazipura's philosophy provides a path towards true authenticity. Because being nice is often something that you were told to do. But nobody can take control of your life but you. You are the one who must be genuine. It is time to go beyond the expectations of another. So, what are some action steps that you can take? Here are some clear ones you can do today. Identify one rule. Take a look at the list we talked about and try to craft a rule for yourself. Then ask, is this something that I actually do? Be more selfish. That is, engage in a hobby that you value. Express yourself. Be truthful with your friend about something that has been nagging you, but in a loving and caring way. Then, in the long term, keep doing those. Create new steps that challenge yourself to be better, and you will make it. But also remember to value what you have achieved. It's also crucial to remember that this is a journey, not a destination. There will be setbacks, challenges, and moments of doubt. Don't get discouraged. Be patient with yourself and celebrate your progress along the way. You are not perfect and cannot become perfect. Just make sure you have a genuine journey. The important thing is to keep moving forward one step at a time. This doesn't also mean constant changing. It means making deliberate actions that are well considered. Remember, this is your life, and you are the director of it. If you want to have a meaningful life, then this is the journey that must be taken. Because how can you love another if you cannot love yourself? It comes from a place of selfishness when you are trying to make everyone happy because you want to be happy and are simply using the other person as a method of getting your validation. Before we wrap up, let's recap the key differences between being nice and being not nice. Nice, you feel a strong need to be liked by everyone. You typically put others first, self-sacrificing. You feel overly responsible for everyone's feelings. You hide your opinions to avoid friction. You often don't say no to others, even when you want to. You seek safety in life and you live in fear. The primary point of being you is so that people will like you. You are more concerned with pleasing the world. Not nice, you don't feel a need to control others' perceptions to feel secure. You take care of yourself first when needed, acting with healthy self-interest. You support others when possible while knowing each person is fully responsible for their own feelings. You freely speak your mind. You easily say no when you want to. You seek deep connection, authentic self-expression, and are the most powerful version of you. The primary point of you is being you. You value yourself. Which one resonates with you more? Which one do you want to embody? Which is more genuine to you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What are your biggest takeaways? Where are you now? What can you do today? Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Until next time, stay authentic, stay empowered, and keep challenging those old nice patterns. You have the power to make a change, and we know you'll do great.